Baby, Rico, bye. And we welcome you in on a Wednesday evening on the Buffalo Fanatics YouTube channel as we get ready to take a look at what the 2024 schedule will look like for our Buffalo Bills. Plenty of leaks out there, of course. Everyone's got an insider these days, Rico, but we will wait 20 short more minutes until we get that official schedule. And this is when it all starts to feel real. The season's right around the corner, and we get our first peek at it right now. Rico, we do know one game that's confirmed, so let's get your initial thoughts. We find out that in week 2, not in the dead Miami heat, but under the lights, a nice cool breeze perhaps in South Beach, the Bills take on the Dolphins week 2 on Thursday Night Football prime time. What are your thoughts on starting the year off on Thursday Night Football in Miami in week 2?
I like it. Get it over and done with. Get the first dub in the East in your own division, and let's keep rolling. I'm curious as to what week 1's going to be, but when it comes to this Miami matchup, I mean, we got to go. It's not going to be the same where they come out and we're just going to just put it on the Dolphins. They're everybody's improved. So we anticipate, especially week 2, where everybody's healthy, we're going to get their best. And they're absolutely going to get our best. And if you just look at it by position and by most important position, Josh Allen over Tua Tagovailoa every day, all day, you can't help but notice that this should be a dub for the Bills. It's been done the last 5 years. Yeah, I don't see anything changing this coming week 2. So I'm excited for that matchup. Thursday night, though, I would have preferred, a more of a Sunday nighter, to kind of get everybody's attention. But Thursday night is fine. Get the week started off right. I like it. Miami Dolphins, Bills, week 2, Thursday Night Football. Why not?
Well, if the rumors are holding true, you will get plenty of your late night fix. I know that's to the chagrin of many Bills fans, but it's being touted that the Bills' first chunk of their season is almost primarily in primetime. Like I said, 20 minutes from now, we will know for certain. But one thing that has been leaked almost to the point of being official since every big name in the business has reported on it. Speaking of primetime, Aaron Rodgers and the New York Jets will have 6 primetime games in their first 11 weeks of the season. And if these reports are true, which they seem 99.99% likely to be, one of them is in week 6, Monday Night Football once again. This time, no, not this time any different. It is in New York yet again. But regardless, 6 primetime games for New York and Aaron Rodgers. Rico, your initial thoughts on that? Because to me, that makes me sick to my stomach knowing that the first 6 of the 11 weeks of the season, I got to watch these New York Jets in some fashion on primetime.
I mean, listen, forget about being a Bills fan for a minute. I think that we're all due for Aaron Rodgers and these Jets. And we have a healthy Aaron Rodgers. And if you're a football fan, you want to see Aaron Rodgers succeed. You want to see him, what it really looks like with a healthy Aaron Rodgers, with the bevy of weapons that he's got, and they've improved offensively. Now you've got Mike Williams that is coming off of injury. That's gonna eventually get in there. You got your stable of running backs. You've improved your O-line vastly. So protect your asset. That's what you should have done the first time instead of just trotting out a 39-year-old to come out and play. So now that you've protected him, now it's time to see what he's about. Now, question is, will he come into form? Has he taken a step back? I mean, you saw what happened to Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson went through his legal troubles, was away from the game for a long time. He's come back. Have you seen Deshaun Watson the way that we've seen Deshaun Watson in the past? Heck no. We have yet to see it. He just hasn't been the same. Will that end up being the same for Aaron Rodgers? I'm looking forward to it. As a football fan, you want to see it. And we just hope that he gets out of this game unscathed so we can actually really see what he's about. So I'm big on that. What say you on Aaron Rodgers? You don't seem to be happy about it. Why are you hating?
It's pathetic because this is such a big bet once again put on the shoulders of a 40-year-old quarterback coming off of a season-ending injury in which he lasted 4 snaps this past season. So you have them playing in some sort of prime time as it stands right now. If it is indeed true, which it's looking like it is, you have them in a prime time window in week 1, week 3, week 6, week 7, week 9, and week 11. This is a major bet on the fact that Aaron Rodgers is going to be able to stand upright through half the season here. And I know the sample size is small with New York, but that small sample size within itself was an even smaller sample size in regard to the amount of time he lasted out on the field. So you just have to wonder. I have no problem. Look, if Aaron Rodgers stays healthy, I have no problem watching these Jets in primetime this amount of times because I do think they're going to be competitive. But I would have been a bit more precautious if I was the NFL in pursuing the amount of primetime games allotted to these Jets with the knowledge that you have what happened last year happen. So this is a major roll of the dice yet again. And of course, no one is hoping for injury or wishing for. And I couldn't tell you how bad I felt last year watching that happen in person. But the facts remain the same. You have a 40-year-old quarterback coming off of a season-ending injury, and to put that team into this amount of primetime slots early in the year is a major gamble, whether you look at it as a positive or a negative. So we shall see, but it's looking like one of those will be against the Bills, the scene of the crime last year. It'll be Monday night again. Bills will be going to New York. And I'm dying to see the confirmation on our schedule, Rico, because the rumor has it that the beginning of our schedule will be absolutely loaded with primetime games. And, that's a big benefit or a big reason to be excited. I guess is the better way to say it for a lot of Bills fans. It's also a real big reason for people to get pissed. There are a lot of people in this fan base who hate the Bills playing in primetime. The league schedule as it stands right now, Rico, has the Bills playing 8 1 p.m. games, 9 4:25 or later. Where do you stand on all of that?
I do not like it from a selfish standpoint. If I worked a 9 to 5, if I worked a day job, then I'd be like, I'm all for it. I can relax and enjoy my team. But for me personally, I do not. I'm an overnight worker. I do all my business at night. So when these games start at 9 p.m., and I live in the Atlantic, I'm in Canada, I'm in Nova Scotia. So these games are an hour later. So now these 8 p.m. games, guess what? Your boy's got to take a day off. What you guys call it PTO. I got to go and take a PTO, right? So listen, it kills me. It kills me. I hate it. So I've got to now these 4 p.m. games. I got to watch the games, then do the post show, and then straight. I'm a tired mess. Now, had I worked a regular day job, shoot, I'm all in for it. So selfish reasons, I'm out. But here's another thing. I enjoy, forget about what the shift work that I do. I actually enjoy 1 p.m. games. I enjoy them. Let's have that. But this is what we call first world problems. When you have a team that's doing well, people want to see this team. This team's got a freaking quarterback, a franchise quarterback. You don't want to see these guys only at 1 p.m. You want to see the best of the best under the bright lights. So that's why you invite these guys. This is like a party that you're invited to, right? The cool kids. We weren't part of the cool kids for the longest time. We were the ones asking to be let in. Can we get at least one invite? We used to just get one invite. Now we're getting like 8, 9. We're part of the cool kids now. So I guess this is par for course, man. This is what it is. Part of the cool kids. And I guess we got to take it.
Well, luckily for us, Rigo, we weren't cool enough to land one of the 2 Christmas Day games this year. The Bills dodged that bullet. I know we talked about it last week, and you and I were out on that. Those 2 games are confirmed. It is going to be it's 2 games. And by the way, if you haven't heard by now, both those games are Netflix exclusive. So if you didn't have that streaming service, add that one to the list of streaming services you'll need. I think I saw that if you tally all of it up, if you include Sunday Ticket, if you were to tally everything up, it is going to cost you, on average, $900 this upcoming season to be able to watch every single NFL game. So they're continuing to do what we all thought they were going to do, and that's add more games in different slots and then allocate those games to streaming services That's what they're doing here on Christmas Day. 2 games. The Chiefs play the Pittsburgh Steelers in the first window, and then the Ravens play the Texans in the second window. That's going to be a gather around the Christmas tree and tune in type game. But if you're a Chiefs fan, Rico, 2 years in a row, you got to spend your Christmas Day watching these Kansas City Chiefs.
Brutal.
And we know how it went last year for them playing the Raiders, and the Raiders couldn't do anything, and the Chiefs still found a way to somehow lose.
1,000%. And you know what? These primetime teams getting these primetime slots, it's business. At the end of the day, the NFL looks at it as business, and it's a year-round business, and they're making sure that you understand that we want to own it all. For crying out loud, schedule release just maybe 10 years ago, maybe less than that, actually. It was just, here it is.
Oh, less. This is fairly new. This whole thing. Yeah. I think it's
within the last 10 years.
Yeah.
It was just, here's the schedule. Do what you will with the information. Figure out what games you want to go to. We'll see you guys week 1. Now, they've stretched this thing out to like, yo, what's going to be a schedule release, 8 p.m. Put it down. Let me leak a couple things. You know what? I got beef, actually. Can I lay my grievances out?
Absolutely. Air those grievances.
I don't understand. And I hope some of y'all feel the same way I do. Maybe some of y'all don't. I don't like the leaking of these schedules. Maybe leak 1, right? The first game that we are going to see in the NFL, fine, right? Or pick week 3. This is the one you're going to get. Leak 1. But the day of, you go a week without doing anything. And then the day of, you start leaking. Might as well just give the whole thing out. Like, there's no excitement now. Now you already know week 11, we might play playing the Chiefs. Okay. Week 2, we're playing the Miami Dolphins. I bet. Like, what else, man? Quit the nonsense. Roll it out at 8 p.m. and call it a couple leaks here and there. But, dude, half the damn freaking league is already exposed in what team, what schedule they have, man. That shit is boring to me. That shit is whack. Hold that shit off. Maybe a couple leagues and call it a day. That's just my beef. I sick of it.
Could not agree more.
I'm not as excited.
No,
I was excited.
I could not agree more. They are for the organization or for the league that does the best when it comes to stuff like this. Like the fact that this is even an event in itself just goes to show you, if the NBA did this, the MLB, no one would give a shit. But the NFL is so popular. I guarantee you the schedule release tonight will probably have ratings up there with the Celtics Cavs playoff game that's on right now. That's just the way it is. But what you're saying is spot on. They are dropping the ball on this exceptionally. I don't know how they could possibly continue to do this year after year without realizing how poorly executed it is. Here's how I would do it. On Monday night this week, I released the Monday night games for the year. Tuesday night, I released the Thursday night games for the year. Wednesday night, I released the Sunday night games for the year. And then Thursday night, I release all of the games. That way, not only do you avoid the leaking, but you also dominate 4 days of the news cycle. And we know the NFL is no stranger to dominating the news cycle. I don't know why they haven't figured that out yet. And then back to your other point. Oh, let's just leak. Let's just put out a random week 11 game, a random week 2 game, a random week 8 game. It's all over the place. It makes no sense. If on one night you want to do the international games and the Christmas Day games and the Thanksgiving games, okay, great. But the way it's going on right now, and then I'm sorry, I don't know how you guys feel, and I'm sure Rico probably agrees with me just based on what he just said. I haven't been on Twitter all day for this reason. Here's what my sources say. Everybody's got a source these days. Everybody's got a source. How about we just wait till 8 o'clock and get the schedule and we'll talk about it then. Everyone all day. Here's what I'm hearing. I mean, okay, I get it if you're a reporter or whatever, but the amount of here's what I'm hearing tweets.
Yeah, there you go. Hate it.
Insane to me today. It's just, like you said, it takes the air out of it. It's almost like getting a Christmas gift every day up until Christmas. And Christmas comes around. It's like, oh, well, I was waiting for all my gifts. Oh, well, you already got them. It's the same result. You just didn't get them all at once. It's not as fun.
Yeah, it's not as fun. It's like the league is telling you, surprise, I got a surprise for you. Oh, you know what? I couldn't hold the surprise. So here's what I was thinking. I was going to shop at these 3 places. It's like my wife. Sometimes she can't hold the secret. So like if it's my birthday, for instance, and she wants to give me something. So, and she says, babe, I'm going to get you something. I bet in my mind, she's going to get me something. I bet I let it be. And then 2 days before, I couldn't hold it. So these are the 3 stores I was going to shop at. Okay, now I kind of have an idea. The very next day, I couldn't hold it. Here it is. What? What do you mean? Let me just show you a little bit and then put it under. Nah, we can't do that. That's what the NFL is doing. Stop that nonsense, man. Roll that shit. Like the bot said it. Yo, I'll give you Monday night schedule. This is what's gonna happen Monday night. Thursday night schedule. Here's what happened Thursday night. You can have all day to engage with those things. If you want engagement, there's your engagement for the whole week, and then roll that bitch out. Anyways, that's the way I feel. But NFL's king, man. This is what they do. This is how they do it. And now they're saying that the week 1 potentially we could be facing the Cardinals.
That is the
that's the
most
rumor?
common rumor I've seen. Yeah, it would be
Sources?
at 1 p.m. in Buffalo, and it, of course, will be Marvin Harrison Jr.'s first NFL game taking place in Buffalo. We're 7 now short minutes away from finding out if that's confirmed or not. We have 7 minutes to fill before we find out the schedule.
Of course we do.
And that's a perfect amount of time to talk about the newest addition to the Buffalo Bills
you did it.
wide receiver locker room. Rico, Brandon Beane has done it again. He is scraping that bowl, looking for talent to find their way to rise to the top for these Buffalo Bills. And their latest addition, MVS, Valdez Scantling from the Kansas City Chiefs, is now a Buffalo Bill. Rico, your initial thoughts when you saw that?
No. We're going to go to your initial thoughts first. I want your thoughts first, and I'm going to jump in. I want your thoughts. Tell me about it. MVS. First of all, before you even jump into your thoughts on what the internet has been saying, your thoughts on what people are clamoring about, and then I want your thoughts on how you feel about that addition. Go ahead and hit me with it, bro.
Well, I'll say this. The last 4 years, MVS has been on a team in which the quarterback has won MVP, which is pretty incredible. So maybe if the history repeats itself, Josh Allen is on par for an MVP season here in 2024. We shall see. I like the signing a hell of a lot more than I like the signing of Chase Claypool. I think MVS has far more of an opportunity to be able to be impactful for these Bills than Chase Claypool does. But once again, Rico, my sentiment is still the same as it was the day they did sign Chase Claypool. And that is, why was there not more assets allocated to the wide receiver position in the draft? Because you know what you're getting with these guys to some degree. Now, MVS is a very hit or miss guy on a weekly basis. There could be a week here where he does absolutely nothing, and then we watch him against the Bills. Naturally, of course, last year in the division, he'll have the catch of the day, and that was one of the bigger talking points coming out of that game, is you had MVS all year long, who did not do a whole lot for the Bill or do a whole lot for the Chiefs. And then in the biggest moment came down with the catch of the game. Then, of course, you had Stephon Diggs in his biggest moment of the playoffs, and he dropped his, and that was a big talking point. So we know that MVS has been a decent role player for the last several seasons now, and he did come up big in areas last year for the Chiefs in these playoffs. But it just, once again, is another example to me of Brandon Beane's knowledge of what this wide receiver room is in need of in order to continue to not only fill out the depth chart, but of course have an adequate lineup going out there for Josh Allen on a weekly basis. And I just come back to thinking, why not take another roll of the dice? Just one. And I wouldn't even have cared if it was in the 6th round, the amount of 4th and 5th round picks, how not a single other pick was dedicated to a wide receiver just to take a flyer on. When you're continuously taking flyers on guys that have bounced around the league the last handful of seasons, I just continue to scratch my head over it. But I think it shows you this is what the Bills wide receiver locker room is going to be, maybe absent one more additional MVS Chase Claypool type guy where you look at it, you know the name, and then you think to yourself, okay, we'll see what he's got.
Well, True to Hearts is questioning you just a little bit. What say you when he says, Zeba, there's multiple ways put assets towards the receiver room. You got to stop being narrow-minded about.
Well, I'd argue that this take is being narrow-minded, because the open-minded thing would be to include both. It would have been to use the picks on the draft and do this as well. If anything, Brandon Beane was narrow-minded. He used his first draft pick of the day on a wide receiver, never addressed it again. Now, all of a sudden, he's addressing it entirely outside of the draft. I'd argue the narrow-minded approach would have been doing exactly what he did. I think the open-minded approach would have been, let's take an open-minded approach to a late-round guy here in the wide receiver realm of things in the draft and see what he's got, and then additionally add veterans as well. I think he put way too many chips in the middle of the table on guys we've already seen, as opposed to putting at least one more chip in the middle of the table on a guy that we don't know but could potentially be one of those next 5th, 6th round guys who blooms. And that list is not a short list. That's for sure. This happens almost routinely now. Now, every guy isn't going to have that happen, but they didn't even give themselves an opportunity to have it happen. That's what bums me out.
I mean, the other way to look at it too, I mean, there's so many ways you can skin a cat, is what they say. The other open-minded way of thinking was Beane was like, I could go and double dip at the receiver position because everybody's going to expect me to do it and go young. However, how about I get myself youth with the first pick of my draft, and then go into free agency and look for the bargain bin guys that have experience, that have done it, and that have been on the stage, and that know how to be professional. And I don't have to train you. I don't have to groom you. You're already ready to go. So that could be the open-minded approach that Brandon Beane chose. And he chose someone that's got that played with, Aaron Rodgers, B, played with Pat Mahomes, and now has an ability to play with Josh Allen. One of the, what some would say, the three best quarterbacks in the top. We got top 10 quarterbacks that you played with. So he's got experience. He's won Super Bowls. So this would be, I would prefer Scantling over whatever 5th, 6th round pick that Brandon Beane would have grabbed. To me, this was an underrated signing. I think people are making a lot out of this. This whole, he picked MVS, he's a bum, he dropped football.
Oh, well, that I don't get. Well, like, what do you want? What do you want Beane to do now? Man. What do you want to do?
Let me remind y'all. Say that again. Say what? Say that again.
Well, I'm in total agreement with you on that, because what's happened? I'm just expressing what I wish would have happened. But now it's like you're going to get upset with them adding more. Like, how can you be upset at that? It makes no sense to me. I understand you might not love the guy, but my God, this is what the situation is right now. I don't understand hating on just trying to have an opportunity here with somebody. Makes no sense to me.
Let me say this, and this this is not an insult to anybody in this chat, because I feel that fanatics, the people in the chat that follow the fanatics, I think y'all are smart. You guys already know what time it is, right? But understand what we had the year prior. We had we hold on. We had we had Hardy that we barely used. We couldn't do anything with him. Who else? For some reason it's eluding my mind. The fifth receiver that we had that came out of Miami. Why is he not coming to my mind? What's his face? We just let him go. He had a beautiful touchdown pass where he was tiptoeing and he caught it on the outside. Why is he eluding me? What's that?
In what game?
Our 5th receiver. Why am I so blank?
Oh, Trent Sherfield. That's what the chat said.
Crap, Trent Sherfield. So MVS replaces Trent Sherfield, right? We have Claypool over Deontay Hardy. Those are upgrades over the 2 receivers we had last year, but we're sitting here complaining about that. We have a 6'4" that runs a 4.340, and we complaining about that because he drops footballs. He's accredited for 3 drop footballs last year. 3 drop footballs. Come on, fam. He's not the bona fide number 1 receiver, and we still complain about that. So get over it, and he might surprise the hell out of y'all, and he might be one of Josh Allen's favorite targets. And then we'd be like, Brandon Beane did a good thing. He got ourselves. Fam, let's stop it, man. Let's just relax, everybody. Relax. This is competition. This is competition. That's how it works. So we'll talk about that afterwards, but we got to get right to the schedule. Let's get right to the schedule.
The 2024 Buffalo Bills schedule has been released, folks. Without further ado, let's dive right into it. We'll go week by week. And Rico, here it is in all its glory as Josh Allen accompanies it with the red visor looking fresh. And Rico, the season starts at home, as people had predicted, against Marvin Harrison Jr. and the Arizona Cardinals. How do you feel about starting against the NFC in a 1 p.m. slot at home?
Love it. That's the way I want to see things happen. That's the way I want it started. And you get it cracking right against a team that is, you know what? They're still putting pieces together with the Arizona Cardinals. But we'll get into the matchup. But this matchup right here is an A+ matchup. Like my man Pierre said, that's an A+ matchup. I like it. This is one of those things where it's not a boring game. It's not a game that you're going up against a team that they're just giving the Bills a gimme, if you will. Get them 1 win, get them started on a 1-0, and then we'll keep it rolling. No. Every game is going to matter. This one right here, the Arizona Cardinals, they got star power quarterback, they got star power receiver. They're building on something. I think Jonathan Gagnon is the coach, defensive-minded head coach. They got some good players on the defensive side of the ball. Arizona Cardinals. Listen, this is a good matchup. This is
a sleepy game. That is a sleepy game, folks. Do not overlook this Cardinals team. That is going to be, I think, a good test for week 1 because it's not that high-end game. It's not a primetime game. It's a team that's going to be young and hungry. It's going to be a test that's not going to necessarily look like one. It'll be a nice way to gauge how these Bills come out because you're going to be the favorite in this game. But certainly, you're going against a team that real football fans know you're not going to roll over as easily as maybe others would think. So interesting starting matchup. Now, Rico, we move on as we have back-to-back primetime games, week 2, 3, and 4, all a different iteration, starting with Thursday night against the Dolphins, going into Monday night against the Jags, and then Rico, my wedding weekend when you'll be up Sunday night football against Lamar and the Baltimore Ravens. So you get 3 weeks in a row there, Rico, with one of each variations of the primetime games. What's standing out to you in that triple threat there?
Oh, well, listen, I like revenge games. I like games where there's storylines, and there's storylines in each one of these games. You go to the September 12th game against the Miami Dolphins. We don't got to talk about a whole lot with Miami Dolphins. We've owned the Miami Dolphins. They've improved, but we still have a way of making them utter the words DADDY all day long is what they call us, because that's what we've been doing to them, treating like our son. We've been sunning these guys for a long time. So I will see this continue. I don't see things changing. So week 2, love it. Jacksonville Jaguars. This one is intriguing to me. I mean, they just signed Josh Allen to a massive contract. They just got in Brian Thomas Jr., the guy that we wanted, the guy allegedly the Bills wanted. Then Gabe Davis is going to be over there. So this is an intriguing one. This is a fun one. Josh Allen.
They've had our number. They have had our number.
Listen, they have. Over the years, they've done really well. I mean, last year was just a weird, odd game against them because I felt that we were the much better team, but the injuries just kept on piling up and piling up and piling up. And we got off the bus. I don't even think we got off the bus. We got off the plane, but never got off the bus. So to me, that game was a weird one. We lost that one. We need to repay these guys a visit and a big dub against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, I can't see from here. Is that home or away?
So of these 3, all of them, no, excuse me. The Jaguars game is home. The other 2 primetime games are away.
Perfect. Okay, so the ones that highlighted are the ones that are home. So that's perfect. Mm-hmm. So the Jacksonville Jaguars, I look forward to that. Mitch Morse is going to be there. So I'm looking forward to them pushing Mitch Morse out the way and say, that's why we moved your ass, because you can't anchor down, and we got boys that can handle that. So that one's got a lot of storylines, a lot of intrigue. I'm looking forward to it, and it's a home game. Love every bit of it. So Jacksonville Jaguar, I love this. You tell me what you feel about that September 29 game.
Ooh, boy. Well, what I'm noticing right off the bat here, Rico, and I should mention this as well while we're on the topic of primetime, this beginning stretch here, from weeks 2 through 6, 4 primetime games. Another additional primetime game is that one we talked about earlier, Rico. Bills at Jets Monday night. But what's sandwiched in between all of this is a game we would have all guessed to have been a primetime game, and it's the only game that isn't. Bills Texans, 1:00 p.m.
Love
the
it.
Stephon Diggs reunion gets buried into the 1 p.m. window. That's certainly standing out to me here, Rico. But let's take a look at it, because when we're talking about the primetime games, from weeks 2 through 6, you have 4 out of your 5 games are primetime. You do not play another primetime game until the 1st of December. So the Bills are going to go a little over a month and a half without an additional primetime game after starting the year with 4 of their first games being in primetime. Now, all of these primetime games, Rico, are against AFC teams, and they're all potential AFC playoff teams in the Dolphins, the Jags, the Ravens, and the Jets. Now, we talked a little bit about the Dolphins game. We know what comes with that already. It's been a great game for the past several years, and it's a series that the Bills have dominated. The Jaguars game always seems to be a tough one for the Bills. I don't know what it is, but they just always seem to have our number, especially defensively. But that's a major revenge game to me. The Bills played horrid last year in London against these Jaguars, and we know how many players they lost in that game as well. Big revenge territory at home. Be a nice spot for the Bills to be able to get some of that revenge against these Jags. This game, to me, no wonder it's Sunday Night Football. And of course, one of the games of the year has to be 2 days after I get married. So add that to the stress level of the weekend as it already is. Bills, Ravens in Baltimore, one of the games of the year right there. That's going to be incredible. Now, the Bills are a team that have always seemed to have Lamar's number to some degree. That we know that those games are always super tight. They're defensive battles, despite having two of the best quarterbacks in the league. So that's very intriguing. But you open up the season here, Rico, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of your first 6 games, actually 6 of your first 7, all against AFC opponents. And the only real weakling out of all of them, you'd argue, would probably be the Tennessee Titans. But also within these first 6 games, Rico, 4 are on the road, only 2 at home. So a major road stretch to begin the year as well for Buffalo.
I'll tell you this, man. You mentioned the Tennessee Titans. I for one believe the Tennessee Titans are going to be a tough team to play this year. They've improved vastly. They've improved the O-line. They've got themselves some weapons. They've got themselves a receiver, and they have a quarterback they believe with. And they believe in, and they got an offensive-minded head coach out there. I believe Callahan is out there. This team is going to surprise a lot of teams. They're going to surprise a lot of teams. We can't sit there and poo-poo all these guys. And Snead is a dog. Snead is a dog. They brought some guys over there that's going to do some big things for the Tennessee Titans. So, listen, man, this schedule, allegedly, we were supposed to have the toughest schedule. And looking
the Browns, I believe, have the toughest. The Bills are right up there, either 4th or 5th, I believe.
Okay, so they're up there, just like last year. I think they were like 5th or 6th in toughest schedule. So, nonetheless, I really do appreciate how they've spread out the schedule a little bit in terms of prime time. The first 4, that's huge. In the first month of the league, where everybody's at their most healthiest, nobody's banged up. You're gonna get the best of the best right at the first 5 weeks of the game of the season.
That's a tough opening stretch. I mean, look at that, Rico. That's a tough first 6 weeks.
And you know what? Didn't we say this last year, or was it the year before, where we're like, I think it was last year, we were talking about how a gauntlet of a first 6 weeks is going to be and how the Bills are going to shape up and how we're going to come out of that. And we worried ourselves to death about it. And it worked out just fine. It worked out just fine.
It might have been the year before last, when they played the Rams to open the year, and then the Titans, who were coming off the number 1 seed in the AFC, and the Bills beat the living piss out of both of them.
I think it was the year before.
Yes, yeah, that was certainly a year where we looked at the beginning. But, if you're looking at these AFC opponents, you got to figure at least half of them, if not more, are going to be in the playoff picture. Last year, all but the Jets were not the Jacksonville either. I forget how bad Jacksonville nosedived at the end of the season last year. But within the last couple of years, all of these teams have been playoff teams or on the fringe of it. And we know the Jets, being the team that hasn't been with the longest active playoff drought in the league, are going to be doing everything they can to end that this year with Aaron Rodgers. So that's the beginning of the year. They don't play another primetime game until December 1st in week 13, which is going to be a game I cannot wait to be at. It is at home, and it is against the reigning NFC champs in the San Francisco 49ers. It's going to be an awesome one. Now, look at that little slate there, Rico. You have the Chiefs at home. That's a 4:35 game, so that's one of those mid-afternoons. Your bye week in week 12, and then the Niners. So it goes Super Bowl champs, bye week, Super Bowl runner-ups right after. What are your thoughts on that mid-season stretch there against the 2 teams in the Super Bowl last season?
I like what they've done here. They got out. They kept us in the East. They kept us going to AFC. They kept us kind of staying on the East Coast. And then they said, okay, now time for y'all to travel. We're going to go to the Midwest. And then now we're going to go to San Fran. Then we're going to, and does McDermott fly these boys back, or does he stay? Hold on. I'm trying to figure out if this is after their home games or not.
Home games. Those are home games.
Even better, because I can't, the way I'm looking at the NFL one. So I like it. West Coast teams, you go against the Rams. Then before that, you go against the 49ers. Oh, and then you got Detroit. They really do it to us. And this falls back on a comment coming from my man Walter. Walter says this feels like a very favorable spread. You start off a really tough first 4, 5, 6 weeks, and then get a little lull and finish against top competition and be ready for the postseason. I kind of like that. I'm big on that. I think it's huge. And to me, you gotta appreciate what the schedule makers have done. They give you star power, high power matchups to begin with. Let the chips fall where they fall in the middle of the season, because that's where your season is kind of shaped and made. And then at the end of it, let's see what you're made of. And that's what they've done with the comment that Walter has put in. So finishing off, I mean, obviously going up against the West Coast, and then obviously playing against Detroit. And then by week 16, they bring it on back, and you know how they do it, division games. That's just the way it's supposed to be done, right? And you finish it off week 16, New England, week 17, the Jets, and obviously New England. So they got us playing back to back to back division games to see how this all plays out. And in those 3 games, I mean, you got the Patriots. Wow, they made us play the Patriots. They made us play them a 1 game apart at the end of the season. So we don't see the Patriots all season long. Not until the end of the season. That's interesting. Very interesting. So shout out to the schedule makers. Week 16, 17, 18, going against Patriots, Jets, and then the Patriots. So we get to see the fate of the Miami Dolphins real early. And we could be looking at the crumble of the Miami Dolphins beginning of the season, and they might not be a factor. Well, we shall see, because we don't face them at the end, because it's always been a factor where we face the Miami Dolphins at the end because that's who they're facing. And the schedule makers are telling us we don't feel the Dolphins are going to be doing shit this season. I think the Jets are going to be doing something. So what they said was, y'all going to face the Jets at the end. I think it's going to be between you two on how it plays out for the East Division. That I find very interesting.
If you were wondering, and I know you are, the lines are already out for week 1 against the Arizona Cardinals. The Buffalo Bills open up as a full touchdown favorite. 7-point favorites are the Bills against the Arizona Cardinals in week 1. All right, Rico, you mentioned something interesting. That final stretch there is a bit unorthodox. You go Patriots, Jets, Patriots. Now, if the Bills need a late season surge, I can't think of a better situation to be in, although I will argue that December 29th game, if Aaron Rodgers stays healthy, will certainly be big for the AFC playoff picture. Shocked that they're ending it with the Patriots at the end of the year. I feel like the Bills like to, or the schedule makers like to put in a game that has some sort of playoff outcome determination to it. That, to me, does not sing as a game that's going to decide a major playoff picture alteration unless the Bills need a win to get in or vice versa. But in overlooking this schedule, I will say that the beginning of the year certainly seems like the toughest stretch. We will know the identity of these Bills fairly early on. We will get into early October, and we will know damn well what these Buffalo Bills are made of. They will have played several playoff teams by then. They'll be featured in primetime for the first 6-7 weeks there. The post-bye, you could argue, is real tough right out of the gate. I do like how it ends, but that stretch against NFC teams there of the Niners, Rams, and Lions is no joke. That is back-to-back-to-back games against NFC playoff teams, 2 in which, of course, were in the NFC Championship just a season ago, 1 who won a Super Bowl a couple of seasons ago. So that is certainly not an easy stretch either, but there's no way to shape this entire schedule as easy, Rico. When you look up and down, even the games that seem like gimmies aren't necessarily gimmies. I'm talking about the Titans game, the Seahawks game, the Colts game. I mean, really, there isn't a gimme on here. The only 2 you could probably argue would be the Patriots, and you'd have to assume they would at least be marginally better than they were last year. And even with that said, they still stole one last year from these Bills. So up and down the board here, this is a tough mother effing schedule for these Buffalo Bills. But luckily for us, we will know what they look like very early on, because it is as tough as it can possibly get. Bills Fever saying, I'll take 3-3 to start. Get that loser mentality out of here. We can't already be talking 3-3. I will say, though, a 4-2 start in this would be satisfactory when you look at how it does kind of even up a little bit. Like going into the bye, Rico, I like the Bills against the Titans, the Seahawks, at home against the Dolphins. I never fear that situation. The Colts, you should imagine the Bills to be a favorite in that game as well. And then the Chiefs, the Bills have been the better team than the Chiefs in the regular season, unarguably, the last several seasons, and the Bills have had their numbers. So I don't mind the way that looks going into the bye. But this is certainly a schedule that is going to allow the Bills to earn their spot once they get towards the end of the year with the playoff situations being on the line. This is a gauntlet of a schedule, and the bulk of the AFC gauntlet is right out of the gates as the Bills kick off against Arizona and then go on to play 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 consecutive AFC games, 4 of the 6 being in prime time. Look at this schedule, Rico. Out of all of these games, what to you stands out maybe the most?
What's funny is Pierre's such a dick. He's like, nah, Rico's looking for where can we win some of these games? Well, he's right. I'm looking at everybody's scheduling. Everybody's like, okay, Jeff King says, you know what, 12-6. He sees us losing 6 games. We got 12 of them coming in. We got Avengers with Smiles. He's probably not a Bills fan. He says 0-6 to start the season. He says just joshing around. He says honestly 3-3. So let's look at the first 6 games because I'm shocked that they see 3-3. So if we have a quick look here at the first game, Cardinals. All right. So let's break something down with these Cardinals real quick. All right, because I gotta. So we're facing a team just last year. Let me just get this thing out of the way here. Okay, so we're facing a team last year that had a record of 4-13. Points scored, they ranked 24th. They were 31st in points allowed. Defensively, they weren't great. They were near the bottom, if not the second worst team in the game defensively. All right. How much did they improve this offseason defensively? We'll have to take a look, see, right? But 31st overall in terms of team grades. Offensive, they're 26th, 32nd overall and defensively. So to me, based on what they've done last year and based on what they've done this year, they brought in Marvin Harrison Jr. He don't play defense at the end of the day. So they've got to stop us. And I don't know who on the Cardinals they brought in that's going to say, oh, yeah, that guy. I like Buda Baker. Buda Baker can play. But, I mean, I don't know anybody else that's on that squad. So, to me, I'm looking at this as a dub for the Bills. This should be a dub. It's not going to be easy because Kyler Murray he's a true competitor. But I think that we certainly will get healthier. We'll get better. We're always on par defensively. That's a dub for me to start the season. What say you with this Cardinals-Bills game week 1?
100% dub for the Bills to start the year off. 1-0 before they get into this real tough AFC stretch. Now, let's go through it because, hey, it's out. We got to give our way too early record prediction. We're starting off here in agreement at 1-0. How do you see the Bills favoring over this stretch here? And let's kind of go through and see where we kind of see their record shaking out after the first handful of these tough games here.
For sure. Well, I mean, listen, I'm looking at this Cardinals defense, right? So they got obviously Buda Baker, they got Murphy Bunting, had a 57.6 grade at corner. Obviously they drafted that corner Melton, so I do remember that. Other than that, man, they got some good players, but nothing to write home about. To me, we should be able to handle that. So to me, I think we're in agreement. Cardinals, we should be able to take this one. 1-0 Bills. Week 2.
1-0 Bills, I'm in agreement with. Jeff King getting into it with someone in the comments, by the way. Jeff, put them up, baby. Put those deuces up. Jeff's throwing haymakers in the comments.
Listen, for those that are not familiar with the chat and who's in our chat, there's a lot of day one people in the chat and there's a lot of new people in the chat. Try to be respectful. If not, you're gonna get your ass handed to you by Jeff King and whoever in there. So I'm just pre-warning. But be respectful in the chat, and because Jeff ain't gonna come at you if you don't deserve it. But anyway, let's move on. Week 2. Is this I don't want to call it upset in the making. Is this a win for the Miami Dolphins? Jordan Poyer is going to come into, I mean, it's a home game for them. So Jordan Poyer with the Miami Dolphins, he's going to stop the air attack from the Buffalo Bills. What say you, sir? With Jalen Ramsey? Talk about it.
As it stands right now, the Miami Dolphins are a 1-point favorite in week 2 against the Buffalo Bills. So this is essentially a coin toss game in the eyes of Vegas. And these games have gone one of two ways. They've either gone in a coin toss type fashion to the Bills or the Bills have beaten their ass. It hasn't gone the other way. And I've been on record saying this and will continue to be on record saying this until I'm proven otherwise. I am never in my lifetime going to predict that these Miami Dolphins beat any team of any substance until they prove it. That's a week 2 W for the Bills until I'm proven the Miami Dolphins can actually beat this team with Josh Allen.
So let's look at what we have with these Miami Dolphins here. So we have Javon Holland, which we love. He had a 90.4 grade PFF. He was he was third best safety in the game. Jordan Poyer comes in with a 67.2 grade. He was ranked 46th out of 95 safeties. He was ranked 46th. All right. So then they got Brooks. They just signed Brooks from the Seattle Seahawks. They got Walker Jr., another linebacker that they brought in. So they got two linebackers that we'll see how it plays out. Jalen Ramsey, Fuller. They got the 7th best corner, and then you got the 57th best corner. You got me saying best corner. And then you got Kohu at the slot, and then you got Chubb coming back, Sealer, Phillips, and Barrett, and then they obviously brought in Chop Robinson as well. So this defense will be interesting. Offensively, you came back with Jalen Waddle. You got Odell Beckham Jr. That's going to be there with alongside Tyreek Hill. So that's a good trio right there. That's a good trio. And they've improved the O-line. You got Armstead, Elkleberry, Brewer, Jones, and Jackson. And then you got a bevy of running backs with A-Chain, Mostert, and they brought in the other rookie. I can't recall who they brought in, but I think it was Jalen Wright. They brought in Jalen Wright. So good roster. They put some things together. What say you? They got a 1-point favorite. So obviously it's because they're home.
It's a W because there's no other reason why. Dub? I don't know about easy, but it's a dub. It's a dub.
Are we going to be allowed? I mean, at the end of the game, could we big dub? Like he won't be able to do that, Jordan Poyer. You won't be able to say that anymore.
Not after that game, he won't. Not after that game. Maybe another game down the line. Not that game.
All right. So I mean, I think we on it. We 2-0.
2-0.
All right.
Now,
listen, I'm rocking.
Interesting note. Monday Night Football against the Jaguars, that is the first of a double header. It's one of those double header Monday night weekends. So it's a 7:30 p.m. kick as opposed to the later 8:30 slots. And it's Bills, it's Jags, it's at home. Jacksonville has had our number. I mean, they really have. They just find a way. Been real tough sledding for these Bills against them. But last year, right after the Jaguars beat the Bills in London, their season took a massive nosedive. They went from a team that looked like they were going to win the division and threaten towards the top of the AFC to a team that didn't even come close to making the playoffs. So it's a big bounce back year for Jacksonville, and one that really needs to show the shining of Trevor Lawrence. He's been good, but he hasn't been that generational number 1 overall pick like everybody thought he would be. It's a huge year this year for Trevor Lawrence. So, Rico, you look at this game, it's at home, Monday Night Football, under the lights, Jacksonville Jaguars. What are your thoughts initially?
All right, my thoughts. Well, let's talk about what they did last year, and then we get into the thoughts, right? So they fell to a record of 9-8. So like you said, they fell off a cliff. We don't know what the hell happened. We have inconsistencies coming from the quarterback and Trevor Lawrence. They were points scored, tied for 13th, points allowed, tied for 17th, so middle of the pack, give or take. 22nd overall team, 27th offensively, 18th defensively, and a pretty decent special teams unit. Now, what did they do this offseason that's got us kind of like, we're a little shook from what they're... No, we're not shook, all right? It's the damn Jaguars. So here's what they got working on defensive side. They got Ronald Darby. That's going to be playing a little cornerback for these boys. Obviously, Josh Allen, graded at an 89.5. Robert Harris, you got Armstead. Remember, Eric, I think it's was it Eric Armstead? Eric Armstead was linked to the Bills, and then he ended up using the 49ers.
We were live. Remember when he was allegedly coming to us and then he wasn't?
Right. All right. Yeah. I think it was a Racino or was
Diana Rossini. Yep, that's right.
Rossini, excuse me. So Eric Armstead decided to take the gig over Jacksonville. So that's a very good defensive front. And then you got Walker on the end. There's their second year or third year player. They got Olukun as a linebacker, Lloyd as a linebacker, and then you got Cisco and Johnson as the safeties. Offensively, here's where things get a little dicey. You got Brian Thomas Jr., you got Gabe Davis on the other side, you got Christian Kirk in the middle, you got Ingram, that's a very good tight end, and obviously Trevor Lawrence and Travis Etienne. You got Big Robinson, Cleveland, Morse. You got Mitch Morse coming in and anchoring at the center spot with a 63.9 PFF grade. Then you got Brandon Sheriff and then Harrison. So on paper, a good squad. But I just feel that we owe them a dub. We owe them, I mean, a comeback to just say, you're not about to disrespect us and try to eat that W from us again. So we go 3-0. I think we take on the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think we come down on them. And Gabe Davis is a non-factor. I believe he will be a non-factor in this game. And they're going to eat through Ingram and Christian Kirk. And Brian Thomas Jr. might do something, but we'll see. But I'm giving our team this dub, not because I'm biased, because I just don't feel like the Jacksonville Jaguars are on the level of the Bills. What say you?
Agree. This team cannot lose to Jacksonville 3 consecutive times. It's at home. It's prime time. And this is probably, I mean, I know it's crazy, but this is one of the lighter games, I'd say, over the next 3 after that. If you were to rank out Jags, Ravens, Texans, and Jets, I mean, the Jags would be at the lower end of that totem pole. This is one you're going to have here. And it's in a spot where you got to get it done against these guys. Or we're talking about a territory where, as I always label the Bills with the Dolphins, the next time the Bills play the Jaguars, if they don't beat them this time, you won't see me picking the Bills against the Jags anytime soon. This is a big one for them.
Let me get at my man Bills Fever, or my lady Bills Fever. Rico's taking the Jags for granted again. For some reason, McDermott can't beat them. No.
You a big Jags hater?
I'm not a Jags hater. I just know what the hell with the were we not watching the same game? We played the Jacksonville Jaguars coming off. We were hot. We were hot at the beginning of the last season. And we come into Jacksonville going to London, where they were there for 2 weeks straight. So they were acclimated with the time zone and all that stuff. And we came out slow and just lackadaisical. I'm not a hater. I'm just a realist. And I feel that we should be able to freaking hang a dub on their heads. I'm not taking them for granted. And Travis Kelce's cool. Trevor Lawrence is cool. Travis Etienne is cool as well. Gabe Davis, we already know what we got in Gabe Davis. I'm not saying he's a scrub, but I like our guys over the Jacksonville Jaguars. That's just what it is. What is the spread over that game, by the way?
That one, I keep looking to see how much they're adding them incrementally. That is not up yet. But if I were to place my best guess on that, I would imagine the Bills are going to be 4-point favorites in that.
I would do the same thing. There ain't nobody hating over here, bro. And you guys should know me by now. I'm always known as the guy that's, oh, the Bills might lose this one. I don't think I like this one. So now that I'm saying, yo, we should get this
losses coming up. We got a couple of losses coming up. We'll share with you. I promise you.
Yeah, I'm sure we will. I mean, we ain't going 17-0 like my man Pierre. Pierre every year.
Oh yeah, don't tell Pierre that.
He doesn't hear or see a loss for the Bills ever. It's always 17-0.
His schedule is entirely just games against the Dolphins to Pierre. That's all it is. Just all Dolphins games.
Well played. By the way, before we continue, big shout out to the chat. Big shout out to those that are viewing, whether you're viewing from Twitter, from Facebook, from Twitch, from YouTube. Salute to y'all. Smash that like while you guys are here. If you guys have not subscribed, you guys are new to this page and this channel, hit that like, share, all that good stuff. Let's get it cracking. Week 3, we take the dub. I think Bot and I are on it. 3-0. Let's go. Week 4. What do we got?
And here comes your first L of the season. For those who are just dying to see an L be thrown out there, here's my first L of the year. On the road, Sunday Night Football against the Ravens. I just think right now the Ravens squad it's better than the Bills as it stands right now. Now we'll see. This team was very healthy last year outside of Mark Andrews. And this is a team that has struggled with their ability to stay on the field year in and year out. In fact, last year, that was the longest I think Lamar had played in December in the last couple of seasons, and that's why they were as good as they were heading into the playoffs, and they got the 1 seed. So we'll see. But early in the year here, a Sunday Night Football game in Baltimore, one of the toughest places to play in the league. This will be a major test for this Buffalo Bills defense. Early on here, we're going to be able to get a good vibe as to how they're going to be able to handle not only a guy like Lamar, but of course, Derrick Henry being in addition to this squad as well. This is a tough matchup on both sides. The Ravens are loaded defensively and offensively. And to me, being on the road in prime time, let's face it, last year, despite the fact that the Bills lost a bunch of games, they never get blown out. And the Bills are going to lose games like these marginally throughout the year. It's just the way it goes. To me, as it looks right now, yeah. I'd give the edge to Baltimore for a few reasons. So this is going to be the first loss of the season for me. 3-1, Bills lose on the road to the Ravens on Sunday Night Football.
Not so fast. Okay. Sir. All right. So a lot of people feel that the Ravens are going to be the team to beat, and they will be. They had a really good year last year. You can't take away. They got the reigning MVP. And Lamar Jackson, but they did lose quite a few players, right? And that are key players, right? So first and foremost, they lost their defensive coordinator. So they don't have the same defensive coordinator that they once had. So that changes everything. You guys know, we all know that a coordinator leaves, certain things change, right? So there's new scheme. I mean, listen, we went from Jim Schwartz, where we were just a wide 9 defense and we were just getting after it. And then we went to Rex Ryan. Completely changed our defense. We weren't as good. Things happen when a defensive coordinator does leave, right? They lost Geno Stone, their best safety, and he had 7 interceptions. Gone. He's not on the squad. That's 7 takeaways that you've taken away. Gus Edwards, their ground and pound guy, gone, right? Jadeveon Clowney, I know he's an older guy. He had 7 sacks, 9 sacks for these guys. I think it was 9 sacks, give or take. So there's production that's gone there. And last but not least, they also lost Patrick Queen. which is a 24-year-old that was a stud next to Roquan. So you lose 3 key players on that squad on the defensive side of the ball. So they didn't get better defensively; they got worse defensively. Now they've had some additions. Obviously, they brought back Matabuke, excuse me, and they brought back Kyle Van Noy. But at the end of the day, and they brought Derrick Henry. Don't get me wrong. Let's not sleep on that. But I'm not ready to give them the dub that easily. Is the spread out on that one or not yet?
For Baltimore, no.
Game.
I would estimate the Ravens to be anywhere between 2 to 3 point favorite in that game.
I don't want to get. I can't give the. To give them
the Bills will 100% be underdogs in that game.
I actually think the Bills win this one.
Okay.
I'm not gonna cap.
I
think the Bills win this one. I think we start off the year 4-0.
Wow.
Give me a dub in this one. Give me a dub.
I'll give you the dub.
Give me the dub.
Now here's the big one. And it's buried in a 1 p.m. window that none of us would have guessed. It's on the road. It's against the up-and-coming Houston Texans with their newest addition, Stephon Diggs. 1 p.m. in week 5, and it's on the road. You got them going 5-0, Rico, or are they dropping one to your boy Diggs? What are your thoughts?
Well, listen, the Houston Texans, bro, that's a hot team. They
are for real.
They're the real deal, man. And Pierre and the people in the chat right now, they're not really liking. They don't feel like we should predict. How do you predict a loss to your team? Like, that's just weird. That's a weird flex to predict a loss. That's called reality.
How is that weird? I think it's weird the opposite way. Is crazy to me.
Listen, this is the thing. This is where it's split down the middle. You have people that are saying we're not going 17-0. Cut it out and shut up. I ain't paying attention to you. But you obviously want your team to go 17-0 to predict that they will. We know that ain't gonna happen, right? Now, there are some times where there's some realistic moments that you're gonna be like, okay, let me pull back a little bit, and we gotta face this AFC team, the Houston Texans. Now, here's the deal with the Houston Texans. You already saw what they did last year with a rookie quarterback. Now he's going into his second year, and you've seen what they've done this offseason. So they brought in Aziz Al-Shair. They've got Dalton Schultz. They re-signed Dalton Schultz. They got Daniil Hunter, pass rusher, one of the best in the game. Danico Autry added him. I know he's 33. He was 34. He's a little up there, but still a very effective pass rusher. Derek Barnett, Jeff Okudah. So they brought some guys on there. Noah Brown, decent.
They are loaded.
Listen, they're not a bad team. And then don't forget, they got the reigning defensive rookie of the year. You got the offensive rookie of the year. You got a great head coach. They brought in Stephon Diggs. Fam, that's a tough one for me. I'm gonna let you start with this one.
Of course,
let's say you.
I have one of two gut feelings on this. One, the week of preparation is going to be at an all-time high. They do not want to lose to Stephon Diggs. There's no way. There's no way that week of they're not going to be at peak motivation, right? Diggs leaves. He goes to this team. I would imagine by then, I haven't looked at Houston's schedule yet, but Houston's going to be right on par with the Bills, I would imagine, as the year starts. It's going to be one of those early playoff type atmosphere type games, which is why, to me, 1 p.m. is crazy. But it's almost kind of nice because it doesn't add any more fuel to an already raging fire that will be surrounding this game. But to me, once again, right now, I think if you compare these rosters, you are nothing but a homer if you confidently say that the Bills have a better roster right now than the Houston Texans. I think the Houston Texans have a top 5 roster in this league. And if CJ Stroud takes yet another step towards elevating his game, the sky is the limit for this team right now. They are loaded on both sides, and they're going to be a team that's going to be around for a while. They're that good and they're that young to where the core of this team is going to be sticking around for the foreseeable future. And you can only imagine they're going to be getting better and better. So I have two gut feelings. One is that this team in the Buffalo Bills comes out highly motivated and wins a very tight game. But the other part of me is just thinking it's in Houston. This team is loaded up and the Bills are close, but they just can't quite edge them out. I personally think that the Bills do a good job of handling Diggs because that's going to be a focal point. They'll know how to do it. But this is going to be a 3-2 start for me for Buffalo. They lose back-to-back games. Doesn't seem like that. You got to also think about how the things tend to go for us as fans. Think about it like this. There's always a time of the year in the beginning when you feel like everything is over, where you feel like the sky is falling, this team is screwed. This to me is going to feel like that. And then they're going to start really putting down the gas upcoming here. 3-2 start. You're going to go online. Everybody's going to be saying, fire McDermott. This team ain't making the playoffs. This team's worse than X, Y, and Z. And then things are going to start to heat up. But as it stands, 3-2 start. They're going to lose back-to-back on the road against the Ravens and the Texans.
Kim has something to say to you. She says, we are not losing 2 in a row.
Well, Kim, if I had wheels, I'd be a wagon. That's what I like to say. And as Kim knows, no one wants her to be more right than me. Believe me, there's not a game on here you could argue I want more than that Texans game.
I swear, everybody wants us to just win. We're gonna win every game. We're gonna win every game.
People that there's also just this is on Twitter. You'll be like, there's people that'll be like, we're not winning all 17 games, but the second you predict one loss, well, there's no way they're losing that game. That's not the game they're losing.
The blasphemy, I tell you. Here's where I land with this one. I think the Texans take this one, only because I think the game prior, going head to head with the Ravens, point. I think we gassed out on the Ravens, and then we take on the Texans. I think CJ Stroud and them boys just show out, and Diggs has his moment. Do I want Diggs to have his moment? Hell no, I don't want him to have his moment. But I think that because we duke it out with the Ravens, we're beat up. I think we give the Texans this win over the Bills. I hate to see it, but we may see them again in the playoffs. So you can have this one, but we might see y'all later.
So you got 4-1. I got 3-2. Now it's back to the Meadowlands. Week numero 6, Monday Night Football under the lights against Aaron Rodgers and the New York Jets. Last time this occurred, a lot of craziness went down, including Aaron Rodgers' season ending in the Bills, somehow still losing to Zach Wilson. Came off the back of a punt return in overtime that I will never not have seared into my memory.
Yeah.
This is going to be a big one, especially if Aaron Rodgers is around. This is the exact situation we were all pumped for last year that we didn't get to see. Maybe we get to see it again here in week 6. Rico, they go to the Jets for their first game against them with Aaron Rodgers. So we'll think, what are your thoughts on this? In your mind, you have them coming off of a loss here. And by the way, I should note that these 3 games here, all on the road, this is a really tough road stretch. 3 teams that many people would view as playoff caliber. Yeah, for sure. So what are your thoughts?
All right, I'll take this one. So here's the deal. I mean, we saw what these guys were able to bring onto the squad. They moved on from Bryce Huff, Jordan Whitehead moved on, and Quentin Jefferson. I mean, I like Quentin, but they brought in Solomon Thomas, defensive interior. They brought in obviously Javon Kinlaw and Hassan Reddick. So they've loaded up on the defensive side of the ball. They've improved the O-line. Rodgers, first matchup with the Bills. Listen, Breece Hall running the football. But there ain't no way they're freaking winning this one. We want this one. I hate the Jets so bad. I'm going to take our bias out of this one. I ain't letting the Jets come in and try to bully us and move us off the course. I don't give a damn if you got Rodgers and Hassan Reddick and all these cats. Not happening. The Bills take this one. We lose against the Texans. We ain't losing 2 in a row. I'm taking this one right here. 5-1 Bills over the Jets.
This to me is where the panic sets in and the Bills rattle off a huge Monday night win against the Jets, a win against the Titans, a win against the Seahawks, a win against the Dolphins, and a win against the Colts to take them into the Kansas City Chiefs game at what would be, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8-2. I have them going into the Chiefs game. I think that 8-2. I mean, where are you predicting the loss between Tennessee, Seattle, Miami, and Indianapolis if you have them beating the Jets?
So I have them beating the Jets. So I have them at 5-1 beating the Jets. So 6-1, 7-1. I say we split with Miami, and we're 7. Oh my God, do I got us at 7-2?
So yes, so either way, I'm imagining you got the same 8-2 as I do going into the Chiefs.
So the two losses I have is against the one against Miami and one against Houston. Who would you have us losing to? You
I
said
have us
Baltimore?
losing to the Baltimore Ravens and the Texans. Now,
Baltimore.
I will say the sneaky loss in there that I could see for some reason would be on the road against Seattle. I don't know why, but that's just looking at me the wrong way right now. I really don't know why.
Kenneth Walker is a good runner. I mean, the defense is always going to be all right. Geno Smith is quarterbacking. DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, Jackson Smith, and Nigba. I mean, they got some boys out there. We'll see.
So no matter how you shake it, Rico and I got us looking 8-2 in the face against the Chiefs at home. And now let's get into the nitty-gritty here, the craziness that is the Bills versus the Chiefs. It's back home, Rico, the scene of the crime that was the divisional round last year. The Bills take on the Chiefs in Week 11, 4:25 slot. It is indeed at home right before the bye. Like I said earlier, the Bills have indeed had the Chiefs number in the regular season. There's part of me, though, that wants to have a reverse psychology approach to this. If you know what I'm kind of putting down here, I'm wondering what your thoughts are as the Bills get set to take the Chiefs Week 11.
Oh, Chiefs Week 11. All right. So we have a home game against Miami. Then we play the Colts away, and then we're back at it again against the Chiefs. And this is what, the 4 p.m. game, correct?
Yes.
Can't see it from there. 4 p.m. game against the Chiefs, and it's a home game. That it's always blockbuster between the Chiefs and the Bills, right? So Travis Kelce, a year older. They obviously MVS is going to be on our squad, so they got who they got out there? Who do they draft? Xavier Worthy. I know you're cringing with that one.
Who can forget about that one?
So I'm looking at the weapons that they got and what they're going to be bringing. Obviously, Big Red is out there. Spagnuolo on defensive squad. Snead is gone. So that's a huge one because he was a big thorn in our side, but he was always locked on Diggs, and we don't got Diggs no more. So
that don't matter. It's MVS legacy game. MVS legacy game, says Bills fan.
I'm telling you, it could be the case. This is a tough one, man. Let me put it this way. Super Bowl winning champs, Week 11. They'll probably be surging to try to get this one. This is a big one. And I think Josh Allen knows what's at stake. He knows that this is the team that's been on our ass. Pagula's going to be watching this closely. Be like, yo, don't forget, you made me give up my draft pick for these Chiefs to go get this guy, and he's been whooping our tail. Y'all need to take care of business. So I think the Bills take the regular season. We continue, and we beat these ones in a close one. Chiefs, the Bills win this one, and we go 9-2.
Reverse psychology. Lose to them in the regular season, beat them in the postseason. Bills losing Week 11 at home to the Chiefs to take an 8-3 record into the bye week. By the way, I love the timing of this bye week in Week 12. It's about as good as I feel like you can get. Yeah, I like it. It's not too early. It's not too late. I just kind of like the way this pans out, especially when you look at how the Bills start and then how it kind of splits up towards the end here. I like the way this falls. So the Bills at bye week have a bye week in Week 12 here. They'll come out of that bye week where Sean McDermott is tremendous at home in yet another primetime slot against the reigning NFC champs, Brock Purdy. And the 49ers come to town. It's a rarity that the Bills play the Niners. This is a once every handful of years type matchup, and it's going to be a damn good one at that. I'm going to take the Bills here against the Niners, Rico. The Buffalo Bills under Sean McDermott have been absolutely extraordinary off of a bye, and since I feel like they're going to lose to the Chiefs going into the bye, little add of motivation, increased health, and a better game plan going against Kyle Shanahan out of the bye. Give me the Bills to beat the Niners off of the bye week to put them at 9-3.
So give me the Bills to lose this one against the Niners.
All right, so
I see this. I see this one as a loss, and not because we're just not good enough to take them. I think Shanahan puts a good game plan together. Excuse me. McCaffrey's just that dude. Love McCaffrey. And I think we just the matchup is different. I don't know if I like the matchup for us in this game against the 49ers. So give me the 49ers over the Bills in this one. So we are both at 9-3 right now.
We are
both at 9-3. Talk about it. And let me tell you this. Let me just preface this to everybody in this chat. This record prediction we're doing is absolute bullshit. We
Oh,
don't know
yeah.
what we're talking about
You
right
think
now.
we know what we're talking about? Are you shitting me? Us?
We are
These
just shooting the shit and trying to figure out where we feel our team is. And really, this kind of gives you an idea when the season is going where you thought your team was, and it's a stark reality of like, shit, our team ain't shit, or
right.
yo, we're better than I thought we were. Yo, let's keep rolling. I predicted this, I predicted that, and I predicted this, or it's just gonna be an epic disaster. We don't know. We're doing it. What are we? May? We're in May, for crying out loud. We're not even May. We're in the middle of May, folks. This is just for fun. What are these guys talking about? How are they not have us winning this game? We should be settle down. Settle down, everybody. All right. So we are
we
9 and
both
3.
have them 9-3. I'll say this because you took the win against the Chiefs, loss against the Niners. I put a loss against the Chiefs, win against the Niners. I would sign up for 1-1 in that scenario. That's kind of how I see it. This is also how I see the next two games. I think a split occurs on the road against the Rams and the Lions. I think the Bills lose one of these two games. Two tough road games against two of the NFC's better teams. I think the Bills split these games. If I were to guess, it might be a loss to Detroit, win against the Rams, but the Rams are sneaky good. I think they split one of these. So the outcome of these two games, Rico, I have the Bills at 10-4, taking on the Patriots going into Week 16. How do you look at it?
So you said you gave us the win against the Rams?
I said they're going to split one of these two. I'm up in the air. Yeah, one of these two is split, though, to me.
You know what? I think we lose. This is in the middle of the season for some reason. And this is just a wild prediction to me. I think we lose back-to-back here. And we don't do that often. The Bills don't do back-to-back losses. It's very rare that they do. But I think we're 9-5 at this point. We lose 2. You have us at 10-4, 10-3, excuse me.
10-4.
Oh, 10-4. That's right. 10-4. Because we split it. So I'm at 9-5 right now. And 2 losses back to back. And you're probably like, what? We don't lose back to back. How can we lose it? We're gonna lose to the Rams and the Lions. The Lions are damn good. They're well coached. They're well-rounded defensively, offensively. They're a good squad. All right. Rams, that's just one of those games where there's always that one game you're like, how did we lose that game? To me, Jacksonville was not the team that we were supposed to lose to. We were not supposed to lose that game, but we did. There's always that one team that we lose to. You're like, what? How? Why? Anyway, but then here comes the back end stretch. I think we go 3 straight wins against Pats, Jets, Pats. Simple as that. 3 straight wins, which puts us right where we're at 12-5.
That would put you at 12. That would put you at 12-5.
Am I 12-5? Yep, 12-5. Sounds about right.
All right. We don't have time to go back through all of them, but look, I think that they go 12-5 as well. If I had them winning out the last 3 here, that would put me at 13-4, I believe. If I'm not mistaken, 12-5 is where I have them. So let's go back and find one more loss in there. I think they lose. I think they win those final 3 games as well, to be honest. But I think 12-5 is exactly where I'd have them. Maybe I'll go and throw a garbage loss to Seattle back in there. It's something about that game feels weird to me. But
Seattle, listen, it might be that's the game that there's always the one game where you're like, what team is this? What Bills team came off that bus and produced this nonsense? And we're going to be questioning McDermott. We're going to be questioning the defense. Oh, our defense is trash. That's why you already know what time it is. There's always that one. But then the Bills do what they always do near the end of the season, and they surge. This is when Josh Allen says, my back's against the wall. I got no choice. We got to get these dubs in order for us to win the division. Because it's all about the division at this point. And that's why we need that division. So interesting enough, I have us sweeping the Jets.
Hell yeah.
I have us splitting against the Miami Dolphins. And I have us sweeping the New England Patriots.
I have a 6-0 in the division because that's how I am, baby.
Hey, it is what it is. So 12-5 on both ends. We chose our losses here and there. Listen, I got to write this down because I did last year where I wrote all my wins and losses, and I went to see how it all panned out. And I wasn't far off last year when I did this. So I'm a little rushed with this one here because I didn't really go through it, but this is off the whim, off the cuff. Here we are. 12-5. I feel it. I mean, I can't see why we can't win 12 games. Why can't we win 12 games? People talk about going 9-8. 9-8, that's borderline. You ain't making the playoffs. That's what you're telling me. In this AFC, 9-8, someone said 9-8. We ain't making the playoffs if you got us going 9-8. That's craziness. We are making the playoffs. We ain't missing the playoffs. That's for damn sure. Ain't happening. Kim Bet says she says 13-4. Abby, 11-6, 12-5 feels good to me. I'm with you. Who says any different? Other than those that are delusional that say that we're gonna go 17-0 in this economy. In this economy, 17-0? Ain't no way. Football gods don't allow that nonsense to happen. We got 11-6
all day.
15-2. Sophia says we're going 15-2. Book it. 11-6. My man DMX. He's with it. He's with the shit. Says 11-6. I respect that. 11-6 is all right, but you're on the that's tight. Is our math correct? Is that right? 17 games?
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, we good. So yeah, I mean, listen, what was our record last year? What did we finish? 11-6 last year?
Yep.
So I mean, we're on par. Give or take 1 or 2 games. We're on par from what the Bills did last year. So what are we tripping about, people? What are we tripping about?
12-5 just always seems like the nice, safe way to go. It just feels like that's up their alley.
I mean, what are the people? What's any predictions happening out there? Have you seen what they predict the Bills will have the record at?
The over under for the Bills in Vegas is 10.5.
Okay, 11 wins. 11 wins.
Yeah.
What's so wrong about our prediction, folks? I know it sounds crazy because you're choosing the games. Like Pierre said, we make excuses for the losses, but we're ready to pick the victor. I mean, at the end of the day, I like it. Now, here's my question for you, sir. We go 12-5, successful season. What player on this squad, newly acquired, do you feel will be a big time asset? I might be putting you on the spot with this one, but what say you on that?
I think Curtis Samuel. I just think there's going to be a spark for him this year compared to what we've seen out of him in years past. I think that he's had some of the worst quarterback play you could imagine for a wide receiver, and I think that he's going to have a good hand played in trying to supplement the loss of yardage and production from Stephon Diggs. I'm not talking like an insane year, but I think he's going to be highly productive for these Bills, and it's going to go a long way.
How do you feel about Keon Coleman and what his production is going to be?
I don't know, man.
Here's the thing. Here's my initial thoughts right off the bat, and this is well before he takes on. And my opinion is subject to change, folks. So go kick rocks if you're going to try to come for me. But I feel like he's going to have a hell of a time adjusting to the speed of the game, a hell of a time adjusting to the game altogether, the length of these corners, how good they are, how good defensive coordinators are, as explosive and as good as he was collegiately. I think he's going to struggle at the beginning, and Josh Allen's going to lean in other directions. He's going to lean more on Curtis Samuel, lean more on Kincaid, and we'll get some moments of Keon Coleman. I hope I'm wrong, but I think there's going to be a very big time adjustment from collegiate ball to NFL ball for him specifically with Josh. Josh, I know, does really good things with receivers. They all come out and they ball. So he will eventually get there. But I think the first bit is going to be overwhelming for him. I think it's going to be a lot. And I think Josh is going to lean more on his vet guys, like your Kincaids, going into your James Cook, your Curtis Samuels, those type of players. Even Mac Hollins might be a aid in order to try to get this thing going. And it sounds crazy that I'm saying this. Even MVS might come in, and Khalil Shakir. He's going to lean on those guys before he starts to kind of go towards Coleman. That's just my thoughts right now. And it's just based on what I'm seeing. I go back to watch his film, and I'm like, how's that going to translate? I wonder if that's going to be good. I wonder if it's the chemistry between those two are going to be great. I hope it's great. But I'm going to tell you right now, man, Shakir is going to be leaned on heavily. I think he's going to have a massive year. Curtis Samuel's going to have a pretty, I like what you said about Curtis Samuel. I think Curtis Samuel's going to come out and play well. And I think MVS is going to surprise some people. I think he's going to be leaned on as well, obviously on top of Kincaid, with Kincaid and all those things. So Keon Coleman, I'm tempering my expectations for Keon Coleman tremendously. I don't expect him to come in and ball out. And if he does, great. Love it. But I anticipate that he's going to struggle early. That's just my anticipation. Walter, 10-7 is what I see. I don't trust the receiver room, and that's 100% health. So what happens if he gets injured? Do we trust a guy like Curtis Samuel that consistently is in his career dealt with injuries, being available? Injuries change everything, right? I mean, you saw what happened to the New York Jets. The injury of Aaron Rodgers derailed the whole season. So the one thing that we can bank on is this offense has stayed healthy relatively very well the last several years. So I anticipate this to continue. These guys take care of themselves, and we go. Knock on wood. We don't want nothing happening, but that's the way I see things shaking out. Any thoughts on Coleman? Or are you more like, let me just let this play out?
No, I'm with you. To expect him to come out and be incredible off the bat is nuts to me. I just don't feel like that's a fair way to anticipate the start of this young man's career. I just think that there's going to be a lot put on his shoulders. He's going to be relied upon heavily, not only on that team, but when you talk about the reliance that this fan base is going to put on him, it's going to be 10 times more than what was probably expected of him in that locker room. And there's going to be a lot of hate. I can just already see it. Unless he comes out and has a couple of 100-yard games in the first 3 weeks, you're just going to see him getting shit on. It's going to suck. But I just think that that's more than likely what you see, because I doubt you're going to watch this guy come out here. And I mean, like last year, the first 6 games of the year, Stephon Diggs had 4 100-yard games within those 6 games and multiple touchdowns. That's going to be a far cry, I would imagine, from what Keon Coleman's going to put up early on here. But that's not to mean that there's not something here. I mean, let's just be honest. It's going to take some time, especially when he's going to be relied on as probably one of the better options that this team has moving forward. So that's not to say he's not going to be productive. I just feel like with him quite obviously being the biggest name at wide receiver now, there's going to be expectations that I feel like are going to be far too high.
Yes, man.
And so, for me, I'm fine with him. I just want to see what he's got. I'm not the type of person looking at it right now saying, man, if I don't see, multiple 100-yard games in this first beginning stretch here, this and that, I'm more interested to see what
going to happen.
I'm just more interested to see what the approach is offensively. Are we going to see an extension of what we saw at the end of the year last year? Because if that's the case, then you can't even judge Keon Coleman on the same scale as you would somebody else. Because I just feel like that's the direction that this team is trying to go in, and that direction does not serve well for Keon Coleman getting 12 targets a game and 100+ yards. So it's all going to depend on how they approach it. But the way I think it's going to happen, I think you're going to see a lot of running the ball, and you're going to see a lot of intermediate, short type throws. And that's not going to be conducive to these all pro type numbers that people are probably going to want to see from Keon Coleman in order for them to be proven that he was worthy of being the first pick taken by the Bills. What I do want to see, though, Rico, is just improvement throughout the year. I just want to see it get better and better. I think that's exactly what we saw from Dalton Kincaid, and that's exactly what you want to see. It is precisely what we saw from James Cook. First year, it was iffy. Last year, couldn't have asked for much better. So there has to be, I hate being the person that says temper your expectations, but when the expectations right now are for this guy to come in and be a Stephon Diggs, and that's pretty much what the expectation is right now, to me, it's fair to say.
I'll say this, and it's the fault of fans, social media that is creating this frenzy. And this poor kid is just being himself, and he's won the hearts of Bills fans. He has won the hearts of not only Bills fans, he's won the hearts of everybody around the league. So now when we want follow-up, okay, he's made us laugh. He's tugged on our heartstrings. Now, can we see the production on the field? Because we want to match that so we can love him even more. And if he doesn't come out and do what you expect him to do, then it's like, ooh, did the Bills miss on this one? Whoa, he's a second-round draft pick for a reason. We grabbed him. We like what he's done. He's going to develop. He's going to get better. He's 20 years old. I know some people are like, quit bringing up the age situation. He's 20. His body still has to grow. He's got time to develop and learn the system. And he's a smart kid. You hear him talk, he's going to gravitate towards getting better and improving. But golly, man, I hope these guys don't come in and try to expect that he's going to have 100 yards and 7 receptions all game long and go, go, go. That is why Brandon Beam was like, hold on. We ain't going to sit here and just depend on this, brother. We're going to bring in MVS. We're going to bring in Chase Claypool. We're going to bring in Cephas. We're going to bring in Curtis Samuel. And we're going to let these guys all compete. Mac Hollins. Don't you realize what's going on? They brought size. They brought veteran guys to make sure that this nucleus that we have going stays together and not relying on these young guys, right? We want a mixture of these older cats. And MVS and Claypool, y'all want to scoff and laugh, but maybe this might be the right fit for these guys. And then we start seeing some really good things happen. Clay has no hands. Like all these things that happen, man. Yo, every fucking receiver drops footballs. If you expect elite, you know what I'm saying, play by your second round draft pick, elite play by a free agent receiver coming out of elite play, bro, MVS was drafted in the 5th round, man. If he was supposed to be that big time ball, he would have been drafted a 1st round guy. Everybody just calm down and let these things play out. I mean, Gabe Davis, we were all over Gabe Davis, you know what I'm saying, loving him and on that big time Kansas City game. Oh, he's gonna be the next guy. And a couple drops here and there, he's a 4th rounder. This is why he dropped to the 4th round, because of these little things here and there. So temper.
To me, the same expectations that people probably have for Coleman right now are the ones that you should probably have for Dalton Kincaid. That's how I see it. I think that,
and we gave way more grace to Kincaid.
He got a lot of grace. I mean, he did. Well, because when you're a tight end, there's just a different prowess surrounding the position. There's more of a star factor to the wide receiver, so the tight end can kind of disappear a little bit. But this team is going to be heavily centered around him. There's no doubt about it. And he is good enough to be able to take advantage of it. And I think that that's going to be a major focal point. 100%.
Here's where we are if we're going to put pressure on anybody in a Bills uniform, it is number 17. That's where we're about to find out where we stand and where this season's going to take us. We don't have Diggs, we don't have Gabe Davis, but we brought in some pieces that overall should help us. Like you said earlier, we went on a freaking run without Stephon Diggs near the end. We started sharing the football all over the place. So it is going to be a Joe Brady, Josh Allen collab to see how we can utilize all the weapons and find the strengths and weaknesses of them and really push the strengths forward. But all eyes are going to be on number 17. How does 17 play ball without 14? Because a lot of times people are talking about, hey, 14 takes the pressure off. And that way, that's why we were able to have success. Now there ain't no 14. That's why 14 was like, you sure? Well, this is where Josh Allen has to come in and say, yes, I am sure. Now watch me work. So a lot of eyes are going to be on Josh Allen. A lot of eyes are going to be on this offense. We are set to see something very interesting this season. And some naysayers are saying, hey, man, it ain't going to be the same. Josh ain't that dude. He was helped out by Diggs. Let me just remind y'all, when Josh was coming through, he made Cole Beasley look like a G. He made John Brown look like a G. He made Robert Foster look like a G. You know what I'm saying? He made the tight end out of Miami, Clay. He made Clay look like a G. Fam, anybody that comes around Josh Allen, they do well. So now that 14's gone, and you got a more veteran, more savvy Josh Allen, let's find out where we stand with 17. It's gonna be fun. And we're all gonna be waiting to see how that all plays out. By the way, Pierre Kingpin says, hey, wait, hasn't Brandon Big Baller Bean hit on every offensive first round pick? He hasn't had many, but when he has, Josh Allen's a big hit. He hit on that one. Who was the other first round draft pick that we hit? Kincaid. So far, those two have done pretty well. So let's let it all play out, and let's see what takes place and really materializes. Jason Millard, what's up, Jace? Ground game, the triple E's, effective, efficient, exciting. Josh Allen, Brady seem to calm Allen with better game plans. Expect the same, and I expect a lot. I do expect a lot coming from Joe Brady going into his full second year as OC, or I guess a year and a half. But he's got all off season to work with the weapons he's got and see how it's all going to play out. So we are looking very much forward to seeing how this all plays out with Joe Brady as the OC. Jeff King, exactly. McDermott as well. Time to put up. You're working with the scab team. Pieces from here and there. The island of misfits. Make it work. I'm gonna tell you something. I think it was Friday where Smokey goes and his mother says, "Yo, I need you to go and get some at the store." So she gives him, I think she gives him $1, but she gives him $1 to go get all these items. And he goes, "That ain't enough." And what was the line that the mother said? "Make it enough." So Brandon Bean and the management team is like, "Here you have. I've given what you need." And Josh Allen's like, "But I need more." No, bitch. Make it enough. You got the pieces around you. Make that shit enough. And we're about to see if Josh Allen can make it enough. And I feel he's good enough to go make it up. That's right. It was cigarettes. Go get your mama some cigarettes. Mama, that ain't enough. Make it enough. All right, bitch. I got to make it enough. So guess what? My man's got some cigarettes. I mean, if he went to go get some cigarettes, you got to make it enough, man. So Josh Allen, make it enough. And that's exactly what's going to play out today. He's got to make it enough. Bartek, our guy Bartek comes in. There's no way one of Samuel, MVS, Claypool, or Hollins doesn't pan out and have a great season. Also, which game we going to, boys?
Good question, Bartek. Keep on them.
Yeah. What you think, man?
Which one of those would I think would be the best game for us to go to?
Absolutely.
I would say for all of us,
I'm gonna try to. I need to at least try to hit one this year, hopefully. But golly, you guys already know my situation. I'm way up in Canada somewhere, so I gotta try to make my way downtown and make it.
I would say a good one for us to go to would be that freaking Niners game. Would be unreal, or the Chiefs game. Either one of those.
Chiefs game would be nasty. That would love. I need to go to an away game. That's what I need. I might have to. You know what? The closest place for me to go to is New England. I might have to hit New England.
I'm not too far from there either.
But New England that's late. I don't like late games. That doesn't work for me. So
do you want to watch the video the social media team put together to release the schedule?
Let's do it. It better be. I am not impressed with the social media team.
I know you're not. I
hate them. So let's see how they do. Let's see.
Okay, here it is.
Open that sucker up if you can.
I'll see you later.
No, remember every time I do that, it screws it up. I don't know why.
Yeah,
I'm going home.
Jesus, H. Come on.
Later.
If you can't, I can write it. Okay, you got it.
Josh. Yeah, they've been letting me stay here for the last couple of weeks. The only thing they say is keep your helmet on, but it gets uncomfortable at night, so I take it off. Just don't tell them that. You never know what kind of treasures you're going to find out here. Mainly screws and nails. It's a simple life. It's not much, but it gets the job done. Got my accuracy tire, getting real big and strong. I got my golf clubs. I got a little par 3 over there. You never know you're going to be in a tough lie, so it works out pretty good. Watched that game last night?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I didn't. I found this tarp and rebar around here. It's a little noisy in the morning, but it actually is a good wake-up call. Some people have a rooster. I've got a guy named Rooster that just kind of hits all the metal, so.
Is the schedule supposed to be involved in this at any point? I'm just wondering. We're about halfway in. I don't know what's going on here. We'll keep running, I guess.
You're running.
Look like to you. Mainly been playing hangman by myself, but I keep losing too. Everyone go deep. So yeah, it's pretty. Get down.
Josh,
Hey, Spinny.
you're living here.
Well, yeah. For now.
All right. Well, schedule just came out, so we should probably do the thing.
Like now or?
Pack up your stuff now. I'll tell you the schedule.
All right. It's been fun.
So we open with the Cardinals, Miami, Jaguars, the Ravens, Texans, at Jets, Titans, Seahawks, Dolphins, the Colts, Kansas City, bye week, 49ers, Rams, Lions, Patriots, the Jets, and at New England,
Steve! Are you staying or are you coming?
Are you kidding me? I'm not going anywhere.
Wow.
Take this crap off for a second. The fucking social media team for the Bills fucking suck.
Oh
They're
my God.
garbage. I'm sorry. I don't know who y'all got putting these things together. Watch and go look at the schedule releases of all the teams and how fire that shit is and how they fucking get you fired up. What the fuck was this? Listen, what the hell was that, man? You brought in Josh Allen to do this. Bro, he must have looked at this and what
did they say? Josh, just go act like a moron for 2 minutes at the construction site that has nothing to do with anything?
And then you get, what's that, Spencer Brown?
Yeah.
Spencer Brown just read off the schedule. What are we? Is the budget low? What's wrong with the budget? The social media team is
nothing to do with anything. What was that supposed to be?
Fucking jokes, embarrassing. Yo, don't even post that. Don't even post it. Whoever was the final person to say, all right, guys, what did you guys put together? Here's what we put together, team. I can't put that shit out. There's no way I put that out. I would just post the schedule and call it a day. You wasted this man's time. What a joke, man. Get rid of the social media team, man. I'm not about people being let go and being fired and all stuff. I'm hoping that this was just a fake and they're gonna give us a real deal somewhere else. Because I tell you right now,
that was it. That was it.
I promise you, everybody in this chat right now, I promise you, I can put my mortgage on the line for this. If I said, bot, I'm gonna give you 3 months to put a fucking video together. A video together in putting a schedule together. You got 3 months. Bot would come out and crush that over what this guy. If I gave it to Bobby, would murder that thing. Our guy Bobby would murder that. Listen, get rid of that social media team. If you want it done properly, bro, Buffalo Fanatics will have you hold you down. That was absolutely. I can't believe I'm going in like this. I don't normally go in like this, but this was terrible, man.
People love it. People love it.
People love it. Love what?
Yeah, Sean thinks you're embarrassing, and Adam thinks we're way too negative. I'll just say this: if the tweet was, we can't. Josh is loving how the stadium building progression is coming on, I would have enjoyed it. If they would have mentioned that it was about the stadium being built, and they were like, "Oh, we can't get Josh to leave the site; he's too excited for the new stadium," I would have liked it. That had nothing to do with a schedule release at all. Just to give you an example, I think this is what Rico's getting at. This is the Chargers, who year in and year out have the best schedule release, bar none. They turned the entire schedule release into a virtual Sims reality world. Let's watch this. I mean, this is killer.
This. Did you see that?
Yeah,
that was cool. That was cool.
No, they're taking on Taylor Swift's private jets.
Oh, that's good.
Oh my God, they're cooking. Oh.
Wow. So give that a pause real quick. So Kim Betts is like, yeah, that's not better.
To each their own. To each their own.
To each their own. And the thing is that you'd have to know what the Sims are to understand what's going on. But this, if you guys didn't think this was good, what the hell was that the Bills put out? You had Josh sitting in the freaking pit
Once again, let's just preface, this was directly to do with the opponents, and it was ribbing the opponents.
Absolutely.
And making fun of the opponent, which is the fun of it. They had Josh Allen sit at a construction site and pretend to be like an idiot for 2 minutes, and then Spencer Brown just shows up and reads the schedule. I don't know.
like Pierre said, they just hit send. We're not even done. Just hit send.
Like I said, if it was a post about the progress of the new stadium, and they were like, we can't get Josh to leave, and it was like, because Josh loves The Office, I think that's his favorite show. Okay, that's totally fine. It just had nothing to do with the schedule release.
Buddy, what? That was absolutely horrible. And I'm sure there's going to be better schedule release ones that we're gonna see. But buddy, that if I don't know how a Bills fan can say I enjoyed that, unless you like looking at Josh Allen and you're like, that's why I liked it. I'll give you credit for that because I like watching Josh Allen. Anything Josh Allen does, I love. Fine, but that schedule release was absolutely horseshit. Golly, good job, Bills fans, and good job, Bills, for that nonsense you put out. Jeez,
so D Raleigh's saying that the joke's on us because it was meant to be stupid.
It was meant to be stupid?
Because they don't care about the schedule release.
Then don't put it out. Don't put that stupid nonsense out. Just don't put it out.
But that's not even the vibe I got from that, really, even.
Even social media right now.
Funnier thing would have been to just put up a slideshow of the teams and just say, we don't care about the schedule release.
I can't. Listen, I got nothing.
I like the idea of it if it was about the new stadium. Because that's what that was, I think, right?
If you're questioning it, then
hold on. Let's go back and see if we missed something.
We didn't miss anything. We didn't miss a damn thing, bro. Just post the damn schedule, call it a day. That's the way I look at it. At first, I thought, oh, this is like an office type of
right. And I thought they were going to incorporate the different teams, and I was actually kind of liking it.
Yeah, I was like, okay, this might be like something like The Office because it was giving me the Office vibe, Parks Recreation vibe. So I was like, okay, I'm with it. I can kind of see what's going on, and they missed the mark. They missed the mark. At least for me. And if I'm not seeing something, then I guess I ain't cool. I don't get it. Maybe it's something that y'all see. I don't see it, bro.
The caption for it, by the way, it's a simple life for Josh Allen across the street. It wasn't Josh Allen doesn't care about the schedule release. I don't know. Maybe we're just a couple of morons, I guess. I
guess we are. I guess I'm a moron. And I'm a moron that did not enjoy that whatsoever.
What would have been like an ideal idea for you?
It's just at least okay. So Cardinals, you could have made Josh golfing in Arizona somewhere, or golfing where there's palm trees or something. Pop.
You know
we
what?
know they're playing the freaking Arizona Cardinals. It could have been anything. If you wanted to incorporate Josh, fine. And then week 2, Miami, you could have him hanging out with Jordan Poyer, having a conversation with Jordan Poyer. I'm talking on the. I'm just making things up at the cuff of my brain.
They could have done, and everyone would have loved this. You know how every week Brother Bill like destroys something from the other team? They could have gotten Brother Bill to do that right off the bat. Everybody would have loved that.
Brother Bill would have killed that, and it would have been
he could have destroyed something for each team. Absolutely. Right there. It would have taken half the effort, and everybody would have absolutely loved it.
He would have done it for free, and he would have been like, yo, you guys want me to do that? Everybody's going to see what I've done? Bet. Give me 2 months. I got you. Fam. What? And you could have put a cameo in there with Josh Allen. Him and Josh Allen could have done something.
Yeah.
Call it a day. We're thinking of this off the cuff of our heads, and then you put this.
Sophia thinks it was genius. Man, we really must be missing something here.
I'm missing something. I must be. I gotta be missing something. I gotta be missing because I'm missing the whole mark.
Marcus likes it though because he thinks Allen needs to be working on the film study and not the schedule release. So that's why Marcus likes it.
I'm actually shocked by this. I truly am. I don't know, man. Maybe I'm wrong. I want to look at another. Okay, hold on. The absolute. Okay.
See, now I'm going to play something. These are great. These are great. The stuff they do with Tasker is awesome.
Let me play something for you right now. This is absolutely incredible. The Ravens did their 24 schedule release right. Here we go. The Ravens. Okay. If you want to see, and I'm watching this for the first time, by the way. So, and I got to play this before I got to get ready for work. So, let me share my screen. If you guys want to see what it should look like, here's how it should look like. All right. So this is the Ravens schedule release. All right, folks. Okay, you guys see my page. Let me make it a large one. Can you see that, bot? You good?
Yeah. Why does this work for you and not me, by the way?
Somehow, you always come through. But now, I've got a very important message that I need you to deliver.
Oh my God, Coach.
See, there you go. You get your funny
First
guy.
moment my whole life.
Now that you've secured the schedule, there's no time to waste. Go straight to the airport. Grab that flight. Here's the company card. Don't let me down.
Straight to the airport. No messing around. Coach is depending on me. Nice.
There you go.
Okay, everybody.
I gotta tell you, Rico, this ain't really doing it for me either.
Ready?
What's that, buddy?
This ain't really doing it for me either. But at least it's got the schedule involved.
But this is the point I'm trying to make, right? Just it gives you something. Okay, week 1 he went and got tattoos. Saints went, oh God, we're playing the Saints, right? And then we keep it moving. Like if you just have to look at all the other ones and look for it for yourself. But anyway, this one for me was those
like,
two that we just played.
Funny.
The beginning was way better.
If Allen would have said this would have been funny. I can't believe we have to play the Jets twice this year. Didn't we do that last year? Like if he would have had jokes involved on the schedule, then I'm all in. Fine, that's fine.
Even then, that would have been funny. But this, we just spent 10 minutes talking about how terrible that was. I'm done talking about it. That's just me. I can't stand it. And it's beautiful to see though, because some people are like, yo, I loved it. To each their own, I suppose. I guess my humor is completely different, or what entertains me is completely different. But that's why I love diversity and all of that. But this was, I mean, listen, Tyson didn't like it. That was also bad. This is corny. Whichever, man. Find the one that you like, and then we'll talk about it. I'm gonna look for one that's actually quite really good, and I'm gonna post it on my thing. If you guys see it, then be like, that's how it's supposed to be done. But to each their own. That's the way I look at it. So we have the schedule at 12-5.
Yes.
12-5. You with it. We'll have to kind of put a little graphic together, the bot, and see where, and contrast how we have our wins and losses together. And we can kind of each week and hit it up and be like, all right, here's what we did. Here's how
oh my God. Sorry to cut you off, Rico, but you ever seen the movie The Town?
Yes. With isn't it with Affleck?
Yeah, based in Boston.
Yep.
The Patriots schedule release was a spoof of The Town.
Well, there you go. That's how it should be done. And I haven't seen it yet. If you want to play it, and then we can get out of here. But go ahead.
All right. I haven't seen it either, but it just looks fun. Let's take a peek. Let's take a peek.
You're right, Walter. You're probably right. The new stadium is being built.
One of the NFL's most storied teams.
All right, here we go. Listen up. Hey, this theorem on the board right here will help us predict our schedule. We've been working on it the last 2 years. Hopefully one of you guys in here can prove it right.
Oh, they're spoofing all the Boston movies. So this is a spoof of Good Will Hunting right here, right off the bat.
That's what this is. I see that. The vacuuming. Yep.
To the stadium.
How about them apples?
This is correct. Who did this?
Is the person who cleans its floors.
Oh, this is great.
Meet Jules Hunting.
This kid's genius is unparalleled, but we need to get someone to get through to him. We got to get the rest of the schedule.
You're telling me that this kid cracked the code that it took the whole offseason to come up with?
The art of scouting lies in the ability to translate observations into actionable intelligence that can be used as a competitive advantage on a game day. Are you going to keep plagiarizing football scouting methods, or do you have any original thoughts of your own? My boy is wicked smart.
Hey, you like apples? How you like them apples?
There it is.
Wow.
I love apples.
Have you asked him about his future with the Patriots?
That's how it's done.
Give the kid some time to figure
Creativity. Holy
This kid's
jump.
genius. Could you imagine if Bill Belichick or Lombardi gave it all up just to get drunk with their buddies?
I'm very impressed with what I've heard about you. We need a mind like yours working for our team.
Nobody works without a retainer, Bob.
We've already offered you a job.
Retainer.
Some people can never believe in themselves
6 divisional games, 4 against the NFC West. You know how f***ing easy this is for me?
until someone believes in them.
Hey, bud, don't take this the wrong way, but if you're coming over every Sunday to sit on the couch and watch the Patriots game instead of working for them, you're a f***ing idiot.
You could be great, Jules.
There you have it.
Your move, Chief.
And some never know how much they can have until they discover how much they can give.
Jules, it's not your fault.
Not you, Ernie. Not you.
It's really not your fault that they lost Super Bowl 52. It really isn't.
Robert Gronkowski, Gerard Mayo, Julian Edelman, and 6-time Super Bowl winner Ernie Adams.
Son of a... The kid stole my line.
Good Jules hunting, coming to a stadium near you.
The town.
Another cop.
15-minute
Wrong movie, guys.
Hilarious.
I told y'all.
That's A+.
So compare that to what the hell the Bills put out there, and you're gonna tell me that the Bills one was good? Stop it, guys. There's you have all year to do this, to figure something out. You know, the schedule release is coming out. It's a big event. Put something out there that's actually decent. Not that crap that you just had. Anyways, I'm done talking about that. That's the last I talk about that. The Bills promo team sucks. In my opinion, the social media team is not for me. Not at all. I try to like it, but I was like, nah, it's not for me. It's weird. Weird flex.
They should have had Gronk do Marley and me, because that meathead is basically just a human golden retriever.
Real talk. So we have some super chats to read, right?
Oh, let's do it. And I'll just say, I think some of the stuff the social team does, I love the Tasker videos when they're trying to do like hype stuff for the playoffs and stuff. The reason this one just has nothing to do with anything. That's what I just don't get about it, but whatever.
It's a weird one for me. By the way, Bent Brim Bot. I tried to, this is as bent as you're going to get it for me with my hat today, buddy. I tried to give you a little bit of homage to a Bent Brim.
I appreciate that.
As far as it goes, brother. What do we got? We got Matthew DeVideo. What's up, Matt? He goes, you guys want there to be some good games week 1 to 5, because me and my mom are going to go to a game in Buffalo this year. I'm also watching Tom Grossi's stream, and I will also be watching Dan Mitchell, our guy. Dan,
that's making the rounds tonight.
Oh, but man, he's all over the place. I like it. My man Thinking Out Loud says, yo, Zbot, if Josh is the man, why are Bills fans crying about him not having a true number one? Mahomes did how many Super Bowls? Sorry. Having true number one, Mahomes did. How many Super Bowls does Megatron and Miss have? I think he's talking about Stafford. I think have we drafted Kincaid in the first? Don't sleep on Samuel. Oh, he's talking about because I think you gave love to Samuel. So I mean, thinking out loud.
Yeah, no, you can't say that the Bills wide receiver room is average without getting somewhat. People get mad because then it sounds like you're crying because they don't have a number one wide receiver. They don't. I don't know how you can imagine them having one currently. If Keon Coleman hits, there he is. I mean, it's as simple as that. But as it stands right now, and I'm not saying that they can't win it, but I've been on record 1,000 times saying that the Patriots and the Chiefs have always been the exception. They're not the rule. And the majority of the top teams in this league right now have a guy that is a stud at wide receiver. The Bills could have that, and we have to find out. But what I'm getting at is I think that this year, the better way to approach it is to approach it collectively, as opposed to approaching one guy taking over, because I think the collective approach is more what they're aiming to do this year.
No doubt. Jason Millard, we have one of the hardest strengths of schedule, but I feel the layout is favorable. Early Thursday night game, prime time, and midday Sunday game. I think the way they laid it out for the Bills, it is favorable in my opinion. So I think we'll be I think we'll come out on the positive end, in my opinion. I think that's a good take. Jason Miller said also, Houston's weakness is the O-line minus their left tackle. Hopeful our pass rush does more than just high pass rate pressure actually gets to the QB. I mean, that's always the end game is always to put the quarterback on his back instead of just, making him scramble and get out of the pocket. Moving the mark is great. I mean, but finishing the job is what we want. So that's usually the end game. 3 straight away games against tough teams is rough. Away at Colts seems like a random away game we'd lose. That's facts, man. And I mean, they brought in some good draft picks, and Anthony Richardson is going into second year, so we'll see how that plays out. But yeah, you're right. That Colts game it just feels like they just throw it in there. That's how we'll deal with it. Channing Hill, what's up, Chan? We sweep the division. Yo, Chan's with you. Z-Bot, Chan is with you. Sweep that division, and we ain't losing one.
Let's go, baby.
We ain't losing. Jason Miller comes back with another super chat. We appreciate you, Jason. Just happy Finn fans can't cry about us avoiding a humid Florida game, as Tua won't have a snow game in Western NY. That's right, man. This is going to be neutral in terms of weather. It's week 2. Should be nice in Buffalo. Let's roll. It's not going to be too hot. Ready to kill it. That's the way I look at it.
Oh, we didn't really mention that. Yeah, Miami, that's like early November. So both teams kind of avoid the advantage that everybody bitches about every year on either side. So good point.
Exactly. We're playing you in where it's just gonna be all right. So we're gonna see how that all plays out. We were talking about earlier what player is gonna be an impactful player, newcomer. And Channing Hill says Dwayne Carter. You know what I'm saying? Mr. Carter himself, the Duke, is gonna be
Mr. Carter.
That's it. Signified No says, I'm just glad we don't play the Bengals this year. Oh, that's right. No Bengals on the schedule. That's an interesting one. Because I know, Shiesty's going to be coming out here and trying to make things. He's coming back for blood. Joe Burrow is coming back for blood. So we're going to find out how these Bengals play
this as well. This is a key point with Cincinnati. Because of the injury to Burrow last year, they have a last place in division schedule this year. So their overall strength of schedule right now, I'm looking at Warren Sharp's easiest strength of schedules, and they're towards the top of the easier end. So that's something to keep in mind too.
They're trying to prop them back up.
Well, it's just because they finished last year. So they have a last place schedule. It's
there you go.
Beneficial to them if he stays healthy.
1,000. Ground game, the Triple E. Yes, we read that earlier today. Efficiency, effective, and exciting. Josh Allen, Brady seem to calm Allen with better game plan. So I think I'm looking forward to that duo. That duo is going to be very interesting this coming year. Bartek, there's no way one of Samuel, Claypool, MVS, Hollins doesn't pan out and have a great season. One of them is going to pan out. I think MVS might be the one that stands out the most, but maybe Chase Claypool reinvents himself. We talked about this last week. Chase had the first 2 years of his career with Big Ben. He was an 800+ receiver guy. So he was on the mends until different quarterback and things happened, attitude and all that stuff, and checked out, and then he's moved around. So I think we talked about this, and we're not going to talk about too much. This might be his last stop. Maybe he's got one more after this one, or maybe this is where he sticks, and the Canadian stays on the Bills, and he becomes an asset. We'll see. He's got the size, he's got the speed. So hopefully we can put it together. Schedule release reminds me of Chris Pratt in The Pit in Parks and Recreation.
So I'm glad Jason is bringing him up, because apparently this was, and this, I guess you got to be a big Parks and Rec fan, Rico. You and I certainly are clearly not. This was a direct spoof of a Parks and Rec episode. So I guess
that's what I figured. It gave me Parks and Rec and Office feel. So I was like, okay, so that's the route they're going. I'm like, but okay, but they still, to me, missed the mark, in my opinion. But
here's Chris Pratt doing exactly what Allen was apparently doing. So this was
Parks and Rec.
I guess back to the Patriots one. If you had never seen Good Will Hunting, you probably didn't like that one either. So you gotta know. I guess we just weren't in the know here.
I still didn't like it. I'm doubling down on that. I didn't like it. That wasn't for me. They should have had Gronk do Marley and Me, because the meathead is basically just a human golden retriever. Anyway, but listen, that it gave me Parks and Rec vibe, so I caught it. It just didn't sit. I hope I didn't sway you in any way. But anyway.
What is that? See, this used to be one of my favorite games growing up. He said the Falcons did theirs based on the game, on NFL Street. You ever play that, Rico?
Absolutely.
Back in the day?
So you would love it if you did. Absolutely, I would. Crazy.
Whoa, dude, check this out. This used to be one of my favorite games.
Good, Bijan. Let's take it to the streets.
Oh. I wish they would re-release this game so bad.
This is cool. There you go, man.
Go Lakers!
Go Lakers, because every Cowboys fan's a Laker fan too. That's the joke. Oh, this is killer, dude.
That's it, man. So go ahead and look at all the my man said you just didn't get it, Rico. Just say that. I got it the first time. I didn't. If you guys heard what I said this gives me Office vibe, because I know Josh is a big Office guy. So I would have caught on because I'm a huge Office guy, and I would have loved it. But I'm not a Parks guy, and I'm like, this give me Parks and Recreation. I was like, all right, let me see what vibe they're going with. Even then, with me knowing that, it still didn't hit the mark for me. It just didn't. And then you get Spencer Brown coming over and he's going, here's the schedule. Boom, 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 boom. What? And then while
he's on the construction site, like, why not stack up a bunch of like something related to the Chiefs and like drop something from the Caterpillar on it or something like that? Would have been cool.
It would have.
It had nothing to do with the schedule, I guess, is what the big gripe here is.
That's the thing. It didn't hit the mark for me. So, but I'm biased in a way that I'm not a fan of the social media team. So this was just on par for me. What I saw, I was like, not for me.
I think for me, it's just I've seen the other ones throughout the years, and I'm always waiting for, like, I hope we get something like super cool. I don't know. At the end of the day, though, I really do not give a shit.
Can we never speak of the curse video again? Yes. What do you got? Listen, because I gotta head off to work. I don't know if you're gonna
do it. No, I gotta do some work myself.
You gotta do some work. Listen, I'll tell you right now, if you let Bot and Bobby collab and put something together, I guarantee you they would have put out a bang.
We just got to get our hands on Brother Bill. I think that would be a perfect idea. Just have him like destroy shit for the entire schedule.
Whatever.
That's what he does every week, and everybody already loves it.
It would have been better than what we saw today, in my opinion. Anyway, Alton says some of y'all really upset about Bot and Rico not liking the reveal. Sheesh. I know. I mean, Bot is coming around, I think, because he now understands.
No, I didn't like it, but if you liked it, I'm not. I mean, good for you if you liked it.
I ain't knocking you if you liked it. That's just not for me. That's all.
Yeah. I just didn't think it had anything to do with anything. So I don't know. I'm watching a couple of the other ones, and they're awesome. So. And
my wife loves Parks and Recs. If I showed her this,
she'll like it,
which I will show her, and I'm gonna see what her thoughts are, and she'll be like, "Oh yeah, I get that. So funny, cool." She might say, "What the hell is this?"
That's a good point. Like I'm like the biggest South Park fan in the world. If they did like an animated South Park schedule thing, I would love it. Maybe you wouldn't like it because you don't like. So I guess it all really depends.
It all depends. It really all depends. I mean, if they could have went the Simpsons route.
But what I miss that other teams do, Rico, that I would like to see is they don't take any shots at any other team. I want to see them throw some, some zingers at the other team, like the Falcons do, or the
somebody will get offended, and then it's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. But folks, I hope you guys enjoyed the show. We came in and kind of gave our predictions. We talked about the schedule, and it's listen, man, it's on. It's on week one.
On, baby. So wait, game one, Rico, is on September 8th. Today is the 15th. So we got June, July, August. We are less than 4 months out. How about that, baby? How about that?
We got to make it work. That's a home opener too, right? Is that the home opener?
That's the opener and the home opener. Yep.
If I could try to get to that game. Anyway, we'll figure that out. Folks, you guys have yourself a fantastic evening. Enjoy yourself. Bot's got to get to work. I got to get to work. And we will be tuning in again. I'm going to be on the Bleacher Report again tomorrow. We're talking about revenge games. Revenge games is what's going to be popping off. I got to do some homework. And then we'll see you guys tomorrow. Until next time, it's your boy Bot. It's your boy Rico. You know what I'm saying? And it's our podcast. We don't know what we're going to call it yet, but we're going to.
That's the end of that. Peace, everybody.